Hello, I'm Peachy.
Hello, I'm Patrick.
Hey up, I'm Jeff.
Oh, you got progressively more badass, and I just started with hello.
Yeah, never mind.
Fast show elements.
There's always next week.
Yeah, I'll work on it. I'll get a deeper voice. I'll go deep. So yeah, hi everybody. Hello, welcome. We're back for another show of just sidetracking. Seen the t-shirt? Looks great. People are wearing them now.
Yeah,
it's
good.
good.
Now. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the sidetracked one seems to be the one that's
Yeah.
being the most popular.
But I'll have to look at the stats. The last time I looked at the stats, the classic logo one was in the lead.
Oh, really? Was it?
And then
Doesn't surprise me because it's classic logo, isn't it?
yeah, and then Sidetracked was second. Yeah,
Cool.
Nice.
Oh, it's nice to see that we've got a league table for them.
Yeah.
yeah.
So go through some housekeeping, as we said before we went. We've got a giveaway. So anyone who wants to enter the giveaway, you can join our Patreon. Any tier, doesn't matter what tier you pick. You could be in a chance for winning our the army I painted, the Khorne World Eaters. I was about to say World Bearers then. World Bearers. World Eaters army plus Angron.
Corny Bazrax.
Corny Bazrax, yeah, nice. I like what you did there. And also Soul Shackle as well. Now the question is, what Imperial Guardsman do I hate the most? If you watch the 12-hour or 15-hour How to Paint Imperial Guard, the answer's in there. Just join Patreon. Put it in there. You'll be fine.
And
Yeah.
the previous episodes we had all the painted army out there.
We did.
And it was
And I
obviously
picked up a box which is over there, but I don't want to get it out now because we'll just be watching me
It's fine.
untape a box. It doesn't make for riveting viewing. Makes for riveting hearing if you're into that old ASMR stuff. I can literally just
Opening boxes, yeah.
tear it open.
My girlfriend had some family over the weekend and was showing them, like, they poked their head in here and was like, oh, this is like where all the YouTube happens and this, that and the other.
This is where all the YouTube happens.
Yeah, the YouTube. What kind of YouTube? The YouTube. And I've drawn a blank, so I'm just going to stop doing that story. I genuinely...
They were overwhelmed by the equipment and the gear.
What did you just say, like, a couple of seconds before?
ASMR.
ASMR, yes,
Yeah,
yes, there we go.
well done,
Yeah,
Peachy.
yeah. Thank you.
he was having he's very young for a senior moment.
Yeah, I was just going to
That
say,
is-
I'm having a
That's
senior
known as an
moment.
absence. So when I used to do, sorry, we're getting sidetracked now. When
Yeah,
I used to do
absolutely.
first aid training, they're referred to like, they were talking about strokes and TIAs, TAIs, I forget which, it's like a minor stroke.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really call it minor. They often say it's not really minor, it's a stroke as a stroke, but
Yeah.
it's a different category of stroke.
Yeah.
And they're on about, does anyone ever like go into a room and just forget, or just like you stand there staring, you can't quite figure out what that is? It's like a minor level
Yeah.
stroke. It's not like effect, it's not going to be like a long-term effect. It's just like, that's what you had. You had an absence.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Happens to us all.
Yeah.
Couldn't smell burnt toast while you were having it, could you?
Is that a heart attack or stroke?
That's
Burnt toast is a stroke.
but yeah. There was
Toast is a stroke. Yeah.
oh, and again, Bo Burnham did a Netflix show called Inside, and it was like loads of songs that he recorded during lockdown, and he was trapped like inside his own room. And one of the first songs is he talks about, he was like, am I overcooking my toast or am I having a stroke? And that's how I know that from.
It's like I'm always having a stroke in our house because we've now let the children be in charge of doing their own toasting. So it constantly smells like I'm having a stroke in our house.
Yowza.
I wake up on a Sunday morning. Am I having a stroke? No, the kids have got up early.
Yeah, got up early and they're cooking toast.
My dad did that. He actually did have a stroke. He woke up one morning and went, I can't feel the left side of my body. So he then went to work, did a full day's work.
No.
Idiot, absolute idiot.
I remember you telling me this and just being like,
he felt really bad. He felt really rough, he said. And then he came home and the mum was like, you need to go to the hospital. Obviously, they talk on the adverts about get it fast and stuff like that. So the fact that my dad just did a full day's work before decided. I mean, how do you do a full day's work with half your body not working?
Well, my father-in-law...
Well, you do half a day's work, I suppose.
My father-in-law had a stroke and he couldn't he literally slid out of bed to try and get to a phone. He was that literally switched off.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's terrifying.
Scary
really.
stuff.
Yeah,
Really,
that is
really
quite terrifying.
We've all had that where we slept on an arm and then you wake up and you just can't feel it. You just think, oh my God. You're like trying to like grab your alarm or your phone and you're just like, what is this thing doing? Imagine that like all day long.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
That would be terrifying. So anyway, back onto the ASMR.
Yeah. ASMR.
Because they're Partner's family, they're not like into Warhammer or anything like that.
What?
So
you need to work on that.
She showed them like my Omora video and they said their favourite shot was when I got like a hobby knife and cut through the cellophane on one of the boxes.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Stuff like that is pretty cool.
What you need to do is just an hour-long video of opening stuff.
Yeah, they were just like, just do loads of unboxings. Yeah.
Remember when I was at, before I was leaving actually, Marvin was showing me like some types of YouTube videos where it's a guy who makes just like huts, and like he does different eras of like huts. So he might do like a Viking hut or a Saxon hut, and he just builds them because I think he's got like a plot of land. It's quite a big following. I forget what it's called now on YouTube, but it's got a big following. There's no talking. It's just audio.
Oh yes,
of them soaring.
Yeah,
of them like and like the rain pattering off like the watling.
Yeah,
like all
yeah.
The thatch roof and stuff like
But
that. You guys could just sit there and watch it for hours, and it's just so good.
Yeah, the secret with those videos, they all have closed captions on. So if you want to know what he's doing, you put subtitles on, and that's kind of like the VO for the video. Yeah. Because I know exactly the videos you're talking about. I can't remember the name, but he'll be like, I make a pizza oven and just a village in a jungle.
Yeah,
and you're like, holy crap. Yeah, but they are really good.
Yeah, I like that
really, really good.
Sit there listening to rain dropping off canvas and stuff.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. It's
a nice sound because when we go camping, we sleep, me and the wife sleep in our van because the back converts down, and the kids sleep in a tent. But the sound of if you're unlucky enough to be camping and it's raining, but the sound of it pinging off the metal roofs, really, it's a nice sound.
So I've got a couple of things about sound that may be normal, maybe not normal.
I've got a quick something about sound. Move your little microphone closer to your mouth.
Oh, not only told off, but a segue told off.
I love it. More of this, please.
I was searching for a moment where I could be like, just try and give you the eyes.
I'm doing that, and I'm rocking back and forth like a
but
crazy
it's
guy.
fine. I would like, because you do rock backwards and forwards, but and sometimes it's okay. Like I've moved your volume up a little bit on my little slider.
Yeah, so. now you have to knock it down because I'm going to start shouting. I'm just going to I know I'm going to move this further away, and you're just going to get triggered by me.
You know what? Bring it on.
He's got enough buttons there to cope.
He has. It's like Data, isn't he? Right now, he's just like he's there with his little fingers, like.
Yeah. Well, let's see if I cut to my angle. Ooh.
That's not only. He's got another thing below me, like a.
I'm hopefully editing in real time, so I can go wide angle. They'd be like, Peachy's saying something interesting.
No, I'm not.
Bam. Close up.
Hi.
Oh, a rebuttal from Jeff. Bam.
Smooth.
So, it's not actually that interesting.
But push in the West, aren't you?
It just means that I edit as I go.
Looks like a one-man version of Kraftwerk.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. What's Kraftwerk?
They were a German.
Oh, the German band,
the German electronics band.
Nah,
but they didn't have keyboards. They just had like boxes because everything had like been pre-sequenced. So
I mean, I've probably like watched enough Top of the Pops to have seen them a couple of times.
Them. They're all shiny side parts with matching red shirts.
Oh, the very 80s.
Oh, and 70s. Yeah,
I might have to get you guys some headphones because this like audio interface has some like really awful sound effects that you can put in. So if one of you says something sad, you won't hear it, but I'm going to press a button and like a trombone goes wah wah wah.
Nice.
That might be getting used a lot.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's awesome.
It does have a censor button, but that's it, because I swore.
You did just that.
So now I'm going to have to go back into the video, find my swear word.
Yes.
How long have we been recording for? 8 minutes.
Yeah.
8 minutes I said the F word. There we go. So I'm going to have to go back and cut that out. Yeah.
I'd say 7 minutes because you've been waffling a bit long.
Yeah, I have been waffling. Yeah. Anyway.
Sound.
So
yeah, I don't even know who else gets this. And I don't know if it was like when I was in the womb or what, but I get really sleepy when the Hoover's on, when the dustbin men turn up, and when people use power drills. I find it really comforting. I just want to fall asleep to it.
Okay.
The Hoover noise is the rushing of blood in the womb.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what that
interesting.
It's the sound. Obviously,
You said my mum's a vacuum?
I wouldn't say
is
that.
Is she a Dyson or a Hoover?
Did Dyson's...
Is she really smiley? Because she could be a Henrietta.
it's just a Henrietta.
Yeah.
It's a Hetty. It's a Hetty.
Yeah.
It's a Hetty. Yeah, I keep forgetting it. I want to say Henrietta as well. It's Hetty.
Yeah.
We've got a Hetty at home. Liz wanted a Hetty. We had a Henry. He died.
I've got a Henry.
Yeah. Our Henry died. We had to bury him.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah, we made a little longboat and sent him down the canal.
It's in the canal.
You're quite close to Elveston Castle. You could have got him in that big list.
we tried. Yeah.
Brilliant.
A dead
Just
Hoover.
a Viking funeral for a Henry. Tell you what, it's the only funeral that a Henry deserves.
Is a Viking funeral. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah, they just keep chugging and chugging and chugging.
They're good.
And then they give up the ghosts when, like, your children have left home. Like, you know, they just keep going forever.
They are pretty robust machines. That's why I think most like cleaning firms use them.
Yeah.
'Cause they're pretty good.
Yeah.
We're doing really well at talking about hobbies, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, we've got. I'm sure we'll segue back to 40k or Warhammer at some point.
Yeah.
Honest.
Yeah. Well, did any of you, I think I know the answer, did any of you manage to get the kill team on Saturday?
Now, the question is, are you asking us or the whole world?
Everyone.
Yeah,
Everyone.
every
in the comments, drop it in.
Yeah. Did anybody that wanted kill team manage to
I'm
get
going to
it?
tell you something. What I do now is I don't look at the website anymore when it
No.
comes to weekend because I know I'm not going to get it.
Yeah.
And there's no point. I might as well just wait until like a week after and just see what's available and then buy what I need after that because there's no point. I'm not going to be sat there like waiting to click and then get hugely disappointed. If I don't join the race, I'm not going to lose.
Games Workshop website, or as I like to call it, the Screen of Dreams.
The Screen of Dreams, yeah. No, I mean, the only thing in that set actually I only want is the Inquisitorial Warband, and I've got the Chaos Dudes, so it'll just be more Chaos Dudes than I need, so I'll just wait until they come out separately.
There's Chaos in there that I wouldn't mind to have in me Death Guard army, so I thought, I might get that, and, you know, like say, the Inquisitorial unit will always get used somewhere along the line. Because they'll do new rules and they'll probably do new Inquisitor at some point in time. And I thought, But then, gone in no time, yet again.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, someone put up quite an interesting article relating to a web shop, and they tried to do their best to explain what they thought was going on. And it was actually on our Discord. And they were saying,
interesting.
The problem being is the same Games Workshop are still massively behind from COVID from their schedule, which is obviously, you know, beyond their control. They also said, the problem being is all the printing gets done in China, and you think, well, you know,
Not all of it.
Well, like
you're right, not all of it, and not all of it does. You're
it's
right.
like the books and papers and stuff.
Yeah, I
So-
think it's the cardboard bits and bobs.
Behind the scenes info is if you have a deadline, you have to hit the deadline, and then you had a 19-week window for so you had to get stuff to repro. Everything was like, this is the deadline for repro, and then repro had to do it, and then they had a 19-week window for shipping to China and back, and this and all the printing.
Yeah.
And half the time they never hit it, so they had to go to Hicklin and Squires or one of the other many places around the Midlands to do the printing for them, which then had a knock-on effect on margin.
Yeah.
So it was always like, we don't want to do it here in the UK because it affects...
Make less money.
Yeah, make less money. So, but 9 times out of 10, they end up doing it just because people just couldn't hit targets.
Oh.
Which is really insane.
And then the other one, which I think is quite an interesting one, they're all saying, well, the problem being is they're not doing a lot of anything is because all they're trying to do is stockpile Leviathan.
Yeah.
For when it comes out.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've heard that answer now a few times. And if that's the answer, and then on the day, Leviathan is really ridiculously easy to get on the website all day long.
Yeah.
But if they go, we're only making, 7 copies of this because we've got 50 million copies of that. And then if you've got a guarantee that it'll still be gone by about 2 minutes past 10.
Yeah,
and it'll be like, so all of that of it being stockpiled to the high heavens turns out to be nonsense. Anyway.
Yeah, if that turns out to be nonsense, I will be a bit upset. Yeah, because I would like to get the 10th.
Well, the Votan one,
the
Votan kill team, Votan/Beastmen kill team went in couple of minutes.
I think
a couple of minutes.
Apparently, some people
the Lion went in a couple of minutes.
Someone was saying that there's like a little glitch or something in the web store that you can get it at like 9:58 or something,
Right.
and then so it sells out before it's even been released.
Is that like when you ring up a doctor's and you have to ring up at 8 o'clock, and by the time you get through at 1 minute past 8, all the bookings are gone?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly like that.
I like to refer to as my favourite visit. My favourite attempt to phone my doctors was what I call Snooker Monday.
Snooker Monday.
Yeah, it was the day I phoned my doctors, and my redials was 147, which is a perfect break in snooker. 147
My
redials I made to get through to my doctors.
Yeah.
They don't now, thankfully. They have a queuing system, but yeah, it's always in our house. It's now always known as that day was known as Snooker Monday.
Snooker Monday, love it.
147 attempts, that's ridiculous.
So with the potentially like the manufacturing of 10th, because they've generally been pretty terrible with releases at the moment, haven't
Yeah.
they? Like everything's sold out. Like similar to yourself, Peach. I still look at what's coming out, and I think, oh, it would be nice to have that, but I've actively stopped buying stuff that I want because I know that I won't be able to get it.
Yeah.
My problem with it is and I think I touched on this once before, I do mind Kill Team selling out, but the bigger problem with it is they sell it out, and then when they dismantle it into its variable extra bits to sell it that way, they then have only a tiny amount of bits for, like the little sprue that was like, the gun racks and so on, which was the Cassican
Yes, that's
one,
right.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
They sold that in a box, and it came with the little the little county council heavy bolter.
Yes, yeah.
So they did all that in a box for that long. And the thing is that has rules in the game.
Okay. Yeah.
That has rules in the game. So they would then go, well, you didn't get in time to buy it. Let's do it separately. And I'm a grown up. I can wait for that, just about. And then they released that for 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I get the shelf space. I mean, that's always been like a thing with Workshop. And when I was there, it was when you, as you remember, you used to be able to buy bits separately.
Yeah.
But that took up so much real estate in the warehouse that they ended up like dropping that because it wasn't as profitable, and it didn't. There was so much stuff that was just like hogging space.
Yeah.
So that's why they ended up removing it. And then for a time it was just sprues. You could order sprues separately. And then it just like, in the end, it was like, no, none of that now. And then they've got more space in the warehouse. But because as a business, it grows, it gets bigger.
Yeah.
You need more space in the warehouse to stock all that stuff. But then you have to limit how. So I kind of get it, but at the same time, it is frustrating.
And also the thing
Why can't they have a made to order system?
Yeah, exactly. Why can't they have a made to order system? They've done it before for numerous things.
Yeah, they're doing it for like loads of the Finecast miniatures at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah. And the thing is that you've built all the casts. They're all sitting there.
Yeah.
Just
the tool exists.
Your tool is all there.
I mean, that's the other thing as well.
I know it's scheduling, going, well, waiting your time to get your thing onto the tool. And
someone that probably works for tooling can correct me on this, but I remember having a conversation with someone that was talking about when they do a run of sprues, like a tool, it takes a while to assemble and disassemble the tool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which is time lost on other things.
Yeah.
So they've only got a limited amount of machines that can print stuff out.
Yeah.
So when they do that, it does have a knock-on effect on like releases and this and that. So I get that side of it. It is like loads of people want Curse City. Let's reassemble that tool, put that together, and then do a whole new run. Okay. You do a whole new run, you get the boxes printed, they sell out again, but you've already dismantled that Curse City tool. So then it's like we'll have to wait another 6 months now before we can do that again because we've got all these other things in plan.
I'd love to see, I mean, we're never going to see it because I guess that's Games Workshop's secret, or I would love to talk to someone about it. In the like how the tooling works, because I imagine if they set it up, they'd have to do a few test runs to make sure that it was all right.
Oh yeah.
All that sort of stuff. Be really interesting. Right. So, hot take.
Yeah,
go on.
I'm not going to talk about historical wargaming before you ask.
Okay.
It's funny you say that. I've been wearing my jumpers and my jackboots especially, but never mind.
Oh dear. Right. So I remember being told they had one factory and then they opened another one and it was already at capacity. So perhaps completely, tinfoil hat on, one of those manufacturing plants is just making 10th edition. And then the other one is just trying to do the kill teams. They literally can't make them fast enough.
Yeah,
the problem Games Workshop have got is they need to hire some wrong-uns and burn down the woodyard over the road facing them, and then they would have all that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking at. I remember before I left there was talking about like because you got a textiles firm across the road. Yeah, you got Brook Brothers, which is the timber yard, which is
they'd all go up like a light textiles and they'd be laughing.
Yeah.
Just a little fire between the two.
They'd be like,
just a small little trail of lighter fuel from one to the other.
Yeah,
not a problem.
Brilliant.
It was an insurance job, it was an inside job. No, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't an inside job. It was an over the road job.
Yeah. Or on the news, they'll be like, a man in a long coat and sawn off jeans was seen streaking away from the incident.
Well, I think if you can marry two hobbies together,
nice.
If you can marry,
like that.
You're flashing and you being a pyromaniac. into one evening's out. I think that's a good use of
It
your
could have
time.
just
Yeah,
been Peachy
yeah.
setting fire to Henry down the canal went wrong.
Oh, 'cause, I
you're
mean-
quite close by.
Yeah,
aren't
you,
Quite close
you
by.
are very close by to the canal. Okay, so this podcast is now how do we burn down the businesses close to Games
I'd
Workshop
say in that
Warhammer World?
What is the actual little road called you go into? What's the name of it?
Oh my God, Willow Road.
Willow Road. So
Yeah.
How
in
did
the
I
future,
forget
that
that?
could just be called Warhammer Avenue, couldn't it?
Well, I think
Yeah.
there is talk about doing
Yeah,
that. And
they
then
just have a gate at the front of it.
Yes,
Which,
yeah.
because you said your security guy mate said it would be so much easier
Yeah,
if we
yeah,
just have
Yeah.
all of this.
I remember he said the same thing. I don't know if he works there anymore.
doesn't,
Head of
he's Ben
security.
left, yeah, sad-
Yeah.
sad.
Good old Ben. I really like Ben.
Ben was great.
If anyone knows Ben, say that I thought he was awesome.
Ben Goodman.
Yeah,
Great
top
lad.
top bloke.
Guy.
Yeah, he.
With a matching name for it? With a matching name for it?
A matching name for it.
Ben Goodman.
Oh, right.
he
Yeah,
is-
yeah. I see
He
what-
is a good
yeah,
man.
I see what I got. Yeah,
Yeah.
It took me a minute
Yeah.
then. I was like,
Yeah, because they I think, oh crikey, how many entrants do they have? Like 1, 2, 3, like at least 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Probably more.
Depending which
Yeah,
side
all
of the
the
business you're
lorries and
into,
the
yeah.
car parks and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. Whereas they could just make it into a private road, gate the front of it.
Yeah.
Then that would be significantly easier for them to manage.
they'll have to manage the road, but that's it.
Yeah, and then they could resurface it and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. If there was another Poonami, I don't know what they would do.
Yeah, that was interesting. The Prunami one.
yeah.
All the
Yeah,
sewage broke, didn't it?
Yeah.
But it was
remember
somewhere
that.
further up, wasn't it? It wasn't even though it was leaking outside that T junction,
Yeah.
road to Lenton Lane. It was further up. It was just working its way down. But yeah, that was. I remember having to. Not a bad thing, but we had to go to Five Guys a few times down because it's in
was
the
the canteen
cinema.
closed?
The canteen wasn't allowed to be open.
Yeah.
Oh, so the one down at the Five Guys down at down
Where
at
the showcase is,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
do like Five Guys.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good.
I had Five Guys recently. Yeah, it was tasty.
nice.
Expensive, but tasty.
Yeah, it's nice. It's you always think, to be more remortgaging of the house, but it's always worth going if you can.
Yeah, 'cause I tend not to eat out that much because it is just so expensive.
Yeah.
And say if I get a takeaway for myself, I'm like, 15 quid for a burger and a drink and a few chips or whatever. And you're like, treat myself every once in a while. But if you took like a family of 4 or 5 there,
Oh well,
like,
I remember.
Oh.
I used to have. I used to have a customer who
cost
was.
of living.
I used to have a customer who was dating the manager of Five Guys.
Ooh.
And instead of tipping me, he would tip me a comp ticket,
Oh,
so I
nice.
could go in and get a free.
that's
night. And
Wow.
one night, and he came in once and he went, there's one for you, there's one for the wife, and me and the wife sat there one night, net, and obviously ate for free. And
Yeah.
then but I'd been sitting there, I was eating it because I was facing the direction, and I was tallying up the price. And my wife said to me once, "Well, we were in town." She said, Five Guys was lovely. Let's all go in there for lunch. And I looked at and then the 2 kids. And I went, it's going to be about 72 quid. She went, how much?
Yeah.
My
it's not
wife
cheap,
just
yeah.
thought it was like McDonald's prices.
Yeah,
no, really,
yeah.
no.
Oh, you get what you pay for,
No,
to be fair.
no, it is.
Yeah,
But the food's great.
yeah,
Yeah,
it really is.
Meat is just generally very expensive. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was at a wedding on Saturday, and the talk of bridal prep was how expensive baguettes are at Pret. That was
All the hot
that was
topics
quite
come up,
funny.
don't they?
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was saving this for a chat show and then just completely forgot to tell you guys. But so I did last month. Did like 4 weddings in a row.
Yeah. Did you do a funeral as well?
You beat me to it.
No.
That was mainly during COVID, to be fair.
Ironically, I was supposed to film a funeral on Friday. But
Oh, yes, you
And did
made
they
but
get
it-
better?
But it got cancelled. So I'm like, great, they lived. Interestingly, again, not Warhammer related. We talked about it for a little bit, but it just I see. I was gonna go with one story, and now I'm doing another one.
I love it. This is what we do. This is what we do.
I was chatting to because I filmed. Obviously, the wedding industry completely died a death over COVID, and I filmed a lot of funerals because obviously there was quite a lot of them going on. And people couldn't attend them, so lots of people had them videoed or live streamed or something like that. And we were waiting in a graveyard for a procession to turn up. There was me, another videographer, and we were chatting to some grave diggers. And obviously, like in our jobs, if you can call this a job, and other jobs, you start having nicknames for stuff and colloquialisms and this, that, and the other. and they were just chatting about digging graves, and he was like, "Oh, we had a Bob Marley the other day," and I was like, "Pardon?"
Well, a Rastafarian funeral.
No, well, no, not at all. And he was like, "A Bob Marley," and I was like, "This is like the second funeral I've ever filmed. You're gonna have to." He was like, "We're jamming," and I was like, "Yeah, that's a Bob Marley song."
Yeah.
And he was like, they essentially, it's like the inception of Gravedigger words. Essentially, they dug the hole too small, so the coffin got stuck, and it was jammed into the floor. So they had to like really push it in. I was like,
God!
So I was like, that's like, oh dear, that must be terrible for the family. Like, and it's like, oh no. But then also that to them, it's just another job, and they have funny names for stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, the coffin gets stuck. Oh, Bob Marley. Oh.
Yeah. I suppose. Yeah, you get to a point where you disassociate, don't you, with what the actual circumstances are. It is just a function. You have a function, which is you dig a hole, a thing goes in it, you fill it with soil,
and you fill it in again.
And then if there's a mistake, you correct the mistake and you deal with that mistake, and you move on to the next task and move on to the next. So it does become very much task-driven stuff, as opposed to there's a family member here.
Like there's a human being inside of that box that goes in the ground. But anyway, I mean that I guess turned into a slightly more sad story than I anticipated. But I was like, lol, Bob Marley. Did 4 weddings, didn't do a funeral.
Sad.
First wedding, I was on photo duties, and after the groom got married, the bride and groom got married, walked back down the aisle, and he was like, "Patrick, do you have a YouTube channel?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." So he recognised me at the wedding, and I was like, "Oh, I mean, it's fun. Like,
you
it's
should have
great."
known he was going to, because wasn't he the one you said that got married in full cosplay as a commissar?
Nice.
But then the bride was dressed up as a Tau.
Oh,
so I was like, nah, and then I just shot them all.
Awkward. That
it's bad when that happens.
So that was like a proper
In fact, but what he didn't tell you was she was dressed up as a Tau, but she was stealth suit, so it looked like he was just getting married on his own.
Nice.
Oh dear. But yeah, that was like a proper crossing of the streams moment for me. The first one. I'd never been recognised at a wedding before, because I think people that get married don't play Warhammer, but of course they do. But that was really fun.
You don't after they get married.
No, maybe not. And then that was in I think Norfolk somewhere. And then a couple of days later, I was down in the Cotswolds, and I was chatting to a lovely lady that had like a half pint glass just full of white wine. And I was like, you know what? Respect. And then
the question is, why wasn't it a pint glass?
Oh, that is a question. Well, okay, so when you go
upgraded,
because she was still classy.
Classy.
She was a classy woman.
No, but you get the wine on the table, so you sit down and have your meal, and traditionally, you might have a bottle of red and a bottle of white, and loads of them don't get drunk. So, as in the bottles of wine don't get finished. So, if you're sensible, instead of going to the bar and paying extortionate amounts of money, you just be like, well, there's some wine left in that one, wine left in that one.
Right.
And I think the wine glass has been cleared away. So she's just making the best out of the situation. Incredible woman, very intelligent. And I was chatting to these 2 ladies, and I was like, I'm really sorry. I recognised that person over there, and I can't remember why. And she was like, oh, that's my fiance. He works for Tabletop Tactics. And I met Bard at a wedding.
Steve.
It was incredible. Yeah, and I was just like, oh my God. And
did he recognise you when you went over?
No, I don't think so. Which is completely fair, because I just do.
I mean, you and Jeff look the same.
Yeah, in like drawn form, we look the same. Yeah. Everybody, I go, which one's which, and then I look at whichever one is more ginger, and that's me.
Well, sadly, as the 3 of us in the top of the hippo on the sidetracked t-shirt, whichever one's more grey.
Well, I remember we used to have an artist lady called Sarah Kaiser. Used to do like if you remember, Warhammer TV used to have little illustrations.
That's right. Yours was I always really liked yours.
Yeah, I love it.
Remember.
It's there. There it is. She drew that for me.
Yeah.
Well, the problem was, and I get this because she's a good artist, but when you've got bald men that have facial hair, they all look. So I look the same as Adam Troke, Andy Smiley, Roger.
Yeah.
And I think Max ended up having one as well. And it was just like there was 5 images of just generic egg people, and they just look the same. It's just like, cool. Which egg person are you? I'm the peachy egg person.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. Yeah.
Is that why you are actually holding your bone?
Yes. So
so you know which one.
Yeah, I know. I know that's me. That's definitely me.
Yeah. Amazing.
Get off my helmet.
Yeah, so I met Bard from Tabletop Tactics. I have to say, terribly for my sins, I don't know his real name.
Steve Box.
Oh, is it Steve Box?
Steve Box, yeah.
Oh, right,
That's
fantastic.
Bard. If that is the one you're thinking of that looks like Bard, the bowman.
I don't know.
Oh. But if you said he looked as Bard and you said he looks
That's
like Bard.
his name. On Tabletop Tactics, he is like Bard. That's like
is
his
he?
nickname.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm
could be getting it wrong then.
I'm going to Google it.
Yeah.
I'm going to Google it. I'll get it on my phone.
Because I always call Steve Box Bard because I think he looks like Bard the Bowman. Or
oh, right.
Luke Evans.
Yeah.
Looks like Luke Evans, the man who plays Bard.
I'm going to...
Oh, yes. I'm only slowly catching up now. Hobbit.
Yes, Hobbit.
Yes.
Yeah, I always thought Steve Box looks like him because my wife was looking through a White Dwarf because tabletop. I'm thinking Vanguard Tactics. You're thinking Tabletop Tactics.
Yeah, Tabletop Tactics. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting.
Oh no, yeah.
Tactics.
So yeah, you're talking about
Steve Box.
Steve Box.
Yeah. I'm getting all confused because I'm stupid and old. Sorry, everybody. Peach had a senior moment like Pat earlier.
Yeah, I'm saving mine till later in the show.
So I met that guy.
That guy there.
That's
Yeah,
not what I'm
there he
thinking
is.
of. That's totally different.
Yeah.
Hi.
So his
Sorry, Steve.
He's not
that
called
man.
Steve.
Yeah.
I know him as Bard from Tabletop Tactics,
Yeah.
and he was the nicest, most enthusiastic person in the world. And I was like, I need to be more like Bard.
Yes.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be the slogan for the next run of t-shirts.
Be more like Bard.
Yeah. But yeah, that was quite the wedding and Warhammer weekend. It was quite surreal.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
And I was like, oh, I wonder if this is going to like happen. I guess it will happen more regularly. I don't know, but it might be quite a surprise. Like, but then also I feel bad because I don't want to be like, oh, I'm here working for the couple, and I don't want to be like, yeah, Warhammer's great.
But if they engage in that conversation, then that's fine.
Oh yeah.
If they start it.
Yeah. I would never. Just walk in. Just ding a glass. Pardon me, everyone. I don't know if you know.
Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, please.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. Please don't talk to me about it.
Please use that voice. Do use that voice. I had a weird dream last night. We went to Bob Naismith's house to ask him to come back on the show.
Yeah.
And
Was I already there? Because that by this point in time, I'm in the next short months, I'm hoping he'll have adopted me.
Oh, well,
so
yeah.
I was expecting to already be sitting there.
We knocked on his door and we said, can you come on the show again for another, and we want to do like a bigger, have you as a regular guest. And he was just like, no, I don't want to. And then I was like, oh no. And then what had happened was it ended up being some other old guy called Wilfred. And he wasn't Scottish. And dreams just get weird. You're just like, so I had to politely go, oh yeah, that's fine. Well, when are you feeling up for it? We'll get you on the show at some point. And the guy was like, oh, okay, thank you very much. Then I closed the door. I was like, that wasn't Bob. I had no idea why I had that dream. It started off, I was going to ask Bob to come on the show again. It went to his house and it got some random old man.
I like the idea
Wilfred.
if the dream had gone on long enough, the fact we did have had somebody on the show called Wilfred who had no understanding of what we were talking about.
Let's get him on.
Yeah.
Wilfred, if you're watching, let us know.
Just get a random off the street one day and bring them into this mess.
Yeah, do it. So I'm gonna ask you. Could be hobby related. Mine kind of is because I've got one.
Okay.
If you can draw into, if you have them, dreams. What's your weirdest dream you've ever had? It'd be interesting to see if anyone's really into like.
I could go with this straight away.
Go for it. Yeah.
So I had a recurring dream when I was a child, and I think elements of it are quite common. But there was some kids. I grew up in like a tiny. It's not even a village. I think it was like a hamlet, just like a small collection of houses. There's some kids our age, and we'd quite regularly go playing and stuff like that. And we'd be like playing with my mates. I'd go down through like a drain into like a different dimension, but it
sounds
was
like it.
But it was yeah. I'd climb down a drain, come out like at the same place.
Yeah.
But it was like I think I was too young to even know what like different dimensions were and all that sort of stuff.
You just went to a magical world.
But like the sky would be purple or something like that. And I'd be on this road and I would see like a fish with like a chain on it, and I'd pick it up, and then it would be like really, really windy, and I'd be trying to run away from this like bad guy that's on some like weird Mad Max barge that was just slowly coming towards me, and I'd be running against the wind, and I just wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, just drop the fish, just drop the fish, and the wind will stop. And I had that dream so many times.
How much cheese did you have the night
I was going
before?
to say that too. How much? Yeah, because
Yeah.
they stopped letting you have cheese before bed.
Yeah.
Because anyone that's really into like they do research on dreams, I'll be interested to see what each of our dreams mean, because I've got one weird one. But
Yeah.
I had a dream that wasn't weird in reflection, but it was quite the way it worked was quite odd. I used to have a reoccurring dream that I was been separated from my platoon on the streets of Northern Ireland and had no weapon, and I was running around in a blind panic, and it would
surely,
be streets. Well, yeah, obviously I had these guns, but I didn't have that gun. And I was running around in the streets in a blind panic. And then the funny thing is, a good friend of mine, Kelvin, he lives in Florida. And sadly, Kelvin had come back to the UK because his mother was terminally ill. And every day he stayed with mum. And then of an evening, he said to his group of friends, he said, take me out and do stuff with me. Just take my mind off it of an evening. I'm happy to be in that world during the day, but of an evening, take me out and go and do stuff. And he said to me, there's a really cool movie I like the looks of called 71. Do you fancy coming to see it with me on the cinema? And I don't know if you've seen 71.
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
No,
it's
never.
about a soldier without his platoon or his weapon on the streets of Northern Ireland.
Oh.
And I said to my other half, I'm going to see, he said, I'm going out with Kelvin tonight, I'm going to the cinema. And she said, what are you going to go and watch? And I said, I'm going to go and see 71. And she went, what's that? I said, it's the movie set in 1971 about a soldier on the streets of Northern Ireland with no gun. And she went, isn't that your recurring Northern Ireland dream? And I went, yeah. She went, is that a good idea? I went, probably not. Calvin's having a bad time with it.
Yeah.
I want to be there for him.
Yeah.
I'll go and see it.
Yeah.
And you know, I went and seen it. I came home. I never had the dream again.
Yeah, it's a good film.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Never had it again after I watched it on the
It's
cinema.
Jack O'Connell, isn't it?
Yeah. Derby lad.
Derby lad. Yeah, he taught.
And plays it with a big thick Derby accent in that as well.
He
which
does.
is,
Which
is cool.
Yeah, he's in one called Unbroken as well, where he plays an American pilot.
He's near
in
Pure
Japan.
War, in a Pure War camp.
Yeah.
Pure War? POW camp, Pure War.
Yeah, because there's a good portion when they're on the ocean, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know where that movie was going to go, but yeah.
All right.
Taught Angelina Jolie to say, "Hey, help me, duck." He's famous for that. If anyone,
Oh, right.
if you ever see her say, it's because he taught her from one movie they were on. I can't remember if she was directing
She
it.
directed it, yeah. She did indeed, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so not a
Fascinating.
weird dream, but a weird outcome.
Yeah.
That a movie,
But then
a movie
immediately
switched
stopped.
it off.
Yeah.
See, I remember a lot of my dreams, and I've had loads of funky ones and weird ones. Usually involve like some kind of like being chased by ring race or like. Usually, we used to be focused quite heavily around the old village. Used to live in the hamlet, a bit like you.
Yeah.
Into like a magical world. But
Did you drop the fish?
I didn't drop that. I didn't pick up the fish. I just punched my way through air.
I just
which was
realised,
really
when you picked up this fish, do you realise that when you went through the other dimension, do you think you might have been in more time?
Yeah, I was wondering that as well. Some weird guy on a barge.
It was going through my head as I was saying it. Yeah, because that's all about fish, isn't it? But, yeah.
So yeah, it's quite a recent one. I remember chatting to Liz's friend Colette. She was studying dreams and stuff. And I was like, all right, can you work out what's going on in this one? So I'm on top of a hill. It's like a sort of a grassy sort of hill, and at the bottom there's a stream, like a little river, but it's quite shallow. There's like hedgerows either side, and at the top of the hill, we're just rolling down. We're just pushing each other. But as we're rolling each other down, there's loads of guinea pigs, and we're pushing the guinea pigs down the hill as part of a game as we're rolling down the hill. And I'm with Liz and I'm with Charlie, and we're all doing it. But when we get to the bottom, all the guinea pigs turn into frogs. And Gandalf suddenly in the water, just picking them all up and collecting them and going, and just wanders off with all these frogs. And we're like,
Fair.
are we supposed to follow this guy? So everyone's and it was weird. I have no idea what any of that means. Why are they pigs?
Oh.
Why are they frogs? Why is Gandalf in the river all of a sudden? Where did he come from? And it was definitely Gandalf, because it wasn't just some old man. It was like he had the hat and everything.
Yeah.
It's just like, and it wasn't Ian McKellen. It was just probably
Generic
John
Gandalf.
Howe style
Yeah,
generic art version of Gandalf. But
Okay.
it was so weird.
My wife has terribly disturbing dreams, and then of a morning she'll wake up and she'll go, I had a dream and there was a woman who lived next door and the baby died, and really sad,
Oh, crikey.
really, really sad dreams. And she'll go, it's really bad. What you dream about last night? All my dreams, like, I was a secret agent. All my dreams are literally like kids' dreams. I was driving a car, I shoot out the window. All my dreams are actually like comic book dreams. And my wife has these harrowing nightmares of like social reality dreams. And I'm just like driving Lamborghinis.
I think Liz is like that as well, because she has like quite harrowing ones that are dystopian and stuff. But yeah, I'm just like shooting guns out of an Apache or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
All my dreams are just really cool.
Yeah.
I feel really bad owning up to them. I go, no. She's like, no, share. Tell me what you was like. Yeah, I was like, and then I parachuted off this onto skis, and then
yeah, just like recite every Bond film.
Yeah, that's what they're like.
It's good. It's good. Any one-liners in those dreams?
Well, probably I would have thought so, but I don't think they made it out the mix of them. And even if it did, when my wife went, and then the baby died, and then I said, then they come out with some quirky bombs.
Golly gosh. Oh dear.
See, Charlie's at the age where he's having dreams and he gets nightmares. Well, I say the nightmares that he has like last night he came into bed and I heard him running. I was like, Daddy. I was like, all right. And he just got into the bed and just started falling asleep. I was like, you all right, mate? You having a nightmare? He was like, yeah, I was in a spaceship and I went out, but you didn't come out. And why didn't you do that, Dad? And I'm like trying to explain to a kid it was a dream. It wasn't real.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to like go, oh, I was probably on my way. I was probably just getting your water bottle sorted out and like, your packed lunch and stuff. Because
someone's got to turn the lights off on the spaceship on the way out.
He woke up because I'd left him.
Yeah.
As I'd carried on floating in the spaceship where it was nice and warm. I'm doing any spacewalking.
Yeah.
Crazy kid.
Could you turn it into like a lesson about like crossing the road or something? It's like that's why you don't run out when you cross the road.
Or this is
so
why you should
cross
listen
the road in your spacesuit.
Yeah.
This is why you should listen to your dad, otherwise he's just gonna go.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's ringing.
Someone's a buzzing. I think hopefully Karis will be able to get
if not, I'll scoot off quickly and come back. I know. Random for a chat, just to disappear and reappear.
I think we might be okay. We'll see if they buzz again. We'll see what happens. I think it might be my new trainers.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Trainers.
Yeah,
same as the ones he's wearing. Just fresh.
Fresh. Yeah.
What about
well, I'm getting to that age where I think it was 2021. All the weddings that I did, I just wore like leather boots. Because they look cool, and I was like, it's part
thigh high ones.
It's part of thigh high leather boots. I was like, so that's the vibe I want when I go and film someone's matrimony. These two giggling away. Oh wait! I've got.
Picture how big the heels on them.
It's got some real big heels.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm late for a wedding. It took me ages lacing them up.
Yeah. Oh dear. I'm going to press that was a good joke. I'm going to press the applause button.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go. Or if you do another joke, I can go like, there's
we have no idea what's going on right now.
I was trying to listen.
Yeah. Sorry, it's like the drums. So if you do that,
he's only had that thing 5 minutes already. Drunk on power.
I know. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because like I control the angles as I speak, so it's like, okay, today's episode is all about me.
Imagine that.
It's all about me.
A whole hour and a half going on, and it was
it's just me. It's just me. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk. What on earth are we talking about?
I don't know. We had a couple of things we were going to talk about.
Very briefly about 40k about Games Workshop's supply chain.
By the way.
Yeah. Not being able to get toys when you want them.
Yeah, that's it.
That's of course. Yeah. So I think they've experienced a lot of growth recently. I think, haven't they? So
they did say they weren't expecting the returners to the hobby during COVID. That was unexpected, apparently.
Oh, I read something. I think it was the Times, as you do. Just read the Times from time to time.
As you do. There's none of cartoons.
I'd argue Mrs. Peach bought the Times as well as many other broadsheets and tabloids.
Sensible papers.
Yes, and I saw when I started reading through it, and there's an article about Games Workshop, and it was interesting because it talked about they had what they called surplus cash, which they've given to the shareholders. I was like, how's about you give it to the staff?
Because they give them...
What is surplus cash?
Yeah, I guess it's like it makes more sense to get rid of it than pay tax on it or something along those lines. There'll be... because they give the staff bonuses like twice a year, don't they? I know when the stock prices took a dive, it was a bit skew if like the stuff didn't get as much as they usually do.
Yeah, I mean, there's just lots of things that just need tweaking there, like
Yeah.
facilities and stuff like that. Just, it was just like a really weird thing to read. Go surplus cash. I was like, trust me, there's places. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got a friend. I'm not going to name drop him, who works in IT. It took him ages to get a whiteboard for the department.
Yeah.
If the IT department's struggling to get a whiteboard, let alone tech, and
Yes.
you're chucking surplus cash out at random,
Because they're still very. Was it all purchases had to go through like one person in marketing at least?
no, I think that's across the business. Yeah,
And then like all the purchases had to go through them because I think it was still a bit from the Lord of the Rings times where they perhaps spent a bit too much and they were still very much in that mentality.
in their
And it's like,
defense,
I just want a whiteboard.
So, again, I'm not in the business of like name dropping out folks like that. Is that there is baggage to that?
Yeah.
Because she watched a lot of her colleagues lose their jobs.
Lose their jobs, yeah.
So she was very mindful of where money was being spent, where it was going. I mean, when I was in the photography studio managing it, I wanted to get this high glide system, which was about 10 grand.
Yeah.
Because there was all this sort of health and safety issue about there was so many cables on the floor.
Yeah.
And with the cables being on the floor, it meant that you had to have bigger gaps between setups. So what was, I think, 7 setups got reduced to 5.
Yeah.
Because of so many cables. And what we wanted to do was get this high glide system, so all the cables will be up high.
Yeah.
All the lights and cameras could be on like these concertina things, and you could just move them around so it would slide that way, and then it could slide down that way. So you could have more setups again, but all your cables are up.
Yeah.
So then you could be closer together. And we got a couple of folks in to do some quotes and stuff, and 10 grand was for the whole room, the studio, but she just wouldn't go for it because it was just too much money.
Yeah.
But yet they'll chuck 40 grand at Warhammer Plus backdrop that now no longer gets used.
Oh yeah, for Masterclass.
For Masterclass,
Was that 40 grand?
40 grand, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a lot of money.
Wow.
I mean, it
Price
probably
of my
includes
house.
like other bits as well, like props and stuff. It's a nice backdrop,
Yeah.
but for it to not be used now because it's rarely looking at people's faces.
I mean, I've talked about my thoughts on the Citadel Masterclass backdrop before, in that I don't really like it because it's just a big orange box that you can't really do loads with.
One of the things I found really bizarre with it was there was so much storage space, and yet all those drawers are empty.
Yes.
There's nothing in there.
Yeah,
There's so
yeah.
many
That
drawers.
feels like a real peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I remember.
It's literally a facade.
So my biggest bugbear, and I'm going to blame Suggs for
maybe.
this because she was terrible at it as well.
OMG, here's a title.
Yeah.
Peachy
Blame
has this
Suggs.
to say about Louise.
Yeah, Suggs. And luckily, me and Raph would, from time to time, would go to the backdrop because he would film Suggs as well as like Martin and some of the guys that would turn up. I set up all the paints at the back, and there was like a little corner thing of the paints, but paints have a habit of separating.
Yeah.
So they look naff when they're all separated.
Yeah.
So I'd have to go around and shake them. Suggs was awful. She'd always just forget to shake them, so you'd start like seeing all like
in the background.
in the background, all the colours are just, or even like the ones at the front, they'll just sort of be like, if it was Corax white, it'll be Corax black, because when it separates, it goes black, which I still can't fathom. Like, it's white paint, you shake it, it goes white, but it looks like oil. I don't understand it. It's weird. It's science, innit? Science.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was always like all these paint pots that were just like separated and just look white and horrid. It's like, just shake the paints. But they just.
I'm going to go back and watch. I
don't think you'd see it because it'd probably be blurred out, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah.
I was probably being a bit overly cautious.
Have you still got Warhammer Plus, Jeff?
Yes.
Yeah. When was the last time you logged into it?
About 8 to 9 months ago.
Yeah. I was going to say, because
And I've still got it, and I'm an absolute clown.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time, because I think it renews in like August, doesn't it? I need to make sure I cancel it because I just haven't used it.
No.
I watched the
I keep meaning to go back.
Iron Warriors animation. And that was the last thing I watched.
The main thing I keep meaning to go back into is Suggs did a video on doing fluid in bottles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's 2, and I want it for the
Death Guard.
No, for the bottles that are on the arm of the medic from the scouts.
Oh, yeah.
Just to see how they've got 2 like canisters there.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind doing that.
What were we just talking about? My brain is...
Xenos!
How many minutes are we in now so you can beep that too?
Yeah.
You forgot. As always.
Warhammer Plus.
Warhammer Plus.
The problem I've got is I think what I'll do as of this year, I think I'll see what the figure is, and if I don't want it, I'll probably
I've never
I'll
subscribed.
No.
That didn't when I was at workshop, because you'd sometimes get things to review, so I didn't see the point, and I just never got around to getting it. And as much as I like some of the figures, I just like I just can't justify that.
Yeah.
The problem is it's such a crapshoot, isn't it? Because year one was great because you got. Well, I took the Vindica Assassin, which is nice to look at, but to be fair, not really usable in the game because you can't walk scenery around the table.
I disagree. You need tactical rocks, Jeff. Come on, you can walk them around.
Tactical rocks, tactical half-destroyed Sisters of Battle faces. Maybe,
it is quite.
He's always in cover wherever he goes. He's always in cover.
Yeah.
So I like the first one, and the great thing is that with that is it's obviously open to be used in a myriad of armies, isn't it? With it being an assassin, and an Imperial can have it. But then obviously got to year 2, and it was like, if you're not playing Warhammer Fantasy, it's you're not going to want that, and it's chaos. But then if you play 40k, it's chaos as well, and it's like,
You see, I have thoughts about those. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. It's like if it's a 40k figure, it could be something that one Grand Alliance could make use of, so Imperial or Chaos or Aliens. And it's not always going to be for everyone. Every year, if you're a Xenos player, this character, like a Zote, they have like keywords and stuff like that. It could be like, oh, that's a cool. And also there's that sort of there's something for everyone. I get it. But every now and again, I'm just like, that's a really niche specific thing. Like, you have to be collecting Iron Jaws for this guy.
Yeah.
As cool as he is, you need to have a not even a destruction army. Whereas like Kragnos, I know that's a big kit, but something smaller scale that's like Kragnos, that is destruction for Age of Sigmar. So it could be for any destruction faction. Is more usable for a whole plethora of people, as opposed to this one thing for this very one small faction for a game that some people argue is not great, but I disagree.
It's hard on the 40k side, because it's either the biggest thing is if you make an agent of the Imperium, then great, you're laughing, and you potentially could make a generic looking Chaos Marine, but that one was very much a cornate sort of thing.
Massively. It was based on artwork, wasn't it?
I mean, like Cypher, for instance,
Terminator,
is like a really cool chaos character that any chaos army could really use, right? For a long time. So it's that kind of like taking that element of something that all chaos players can make use of, and taking something that all Imperial players can make use of. Cypher's really good because he can be used by Imperials and chaos.
And then the problem is, and then they're going, well, I play Orcs or I play Eldar, and it's that thing.
I guess it's very tricky.
If you don't paint for fun, they're not. They can potentially not be great.
I think just a broader audience for each of the figures would be cool. But I also know that sometimes a lot of it is
maybe go mad, do 3.
Do through it, I think it's. I could be wrong, and I'm sure someone can correct me. But I think a lot of the time it is just someone's just sculpted something cool, and they've had it hanging around for a long time. Let's turn that into a Warhammer Plus figure. And then I, as I know as well, there are a lot, because miniatures is very organised. They do have like things that are in place for this is going to be for this is going to be for this. And then sometimes you have like the odd whim. I remember when the design studio used to be all one thing. You had the sculptors in there, you had the artists in there, you had the painters in there. Every department that made a product that was paper and game and miniatures were all in one room. Then they set off and made their own little departments. You had like hobby products, you had miniatures, and you had what was called publications. Then Black Library went and did its own things. Publications became books and box games. So the painters were like, heavy metal went down to the sculptors. Made sense because they're painting stuff for the packaging, so they're dealing quite close with the sculptors. The army painters wanted to stay with books and box or publications because we were making stuff for the books. But we went down with miniatures, so half the time we were painting stuff that was of no use to the studio. So there's a whole bunch of armies that we did. And this is like a behind the curtain kind of thing. During that time, the army painters grew in size because it was like me, Steve, and Duncan. Then it got to like more people had been hired in, like Tom and Nat, and then other people coming on top of that. We were painting armies no one used in publications. Eventually, they got used. But because no one had any idea what they were doing, it was like, the sculptors are sculpting these things at the minute. Let's just paint an army for it and make it really, really big. And then upstairs, they're like doing a campaign that has nothing to do with that. So you had like two sort of like departments that weren't really, as always, communicating with each other. So up in books and box games, they were using hobby collections of like the photographers and the graphic designers.
I mean, that reminds me of Battle Report.
This is the thing. It's like you've got a department that paints armies as a profession, and yet you're at a point where you're having to use people's personal hobby.
We talked about this in the early days of the show, didn't we?
Yeah.
When you not long left, the idea that a company of that size has to borrow an army of somebody. Because early days, at one point, you said to me, didn't you? How much of your Death Guard army's painted?
Yeah,
because it was. But you think it's preposterous, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know you're a man on the inside, and me going, oh well, I think you should do this when I've never done that. I know, but you think you should be saying there should always be an army painted of everything in a drawer for when it's needed for Warhammer Plus for Battle Report, instead of just and going, well, you can't borrow the special ones for the box art. And you go, you need, you can't have a company that size that makes its own plastics, makes its own paints, has its own painters, and then has to borrow an army. That's like me going halfway down my street, knocking on Mrs. Smith's door and going, have you got any scissors I can borrow out your kitchen drawer? I've got someone who needs a haircut. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
I think it came down to like the planning of stuff and the deadlines. Like,
you're right, but I bet they still haven't fixed it now.
Pass.
Well, I mean, I remember the heavy metal collections were used by White Dwarf and all sorts of things for like the bat reports and stuff. And then it got to the point where they were spending too long painting them, that they were like become super precious, that it was like each model was worth an iPad.
Yes. Very expensive.
So it's like, cool. Don't touch them. Just look at them. Look at them with your eyes, not your fingers.
Yeah, the time that's been invested like into that miniature by a professional painter, it's now worth like a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, but it was just really, I always found it really bizarre that we were painting all these armors, and over time they did get used a lot. Well, at least we tried to make it the case. But when me and Steve moved up to publications, then it was more focused to like, we need this army for this book, we need this arm. So that's when like the End Times books were like becoming a big thing. So we were painting particular units for particular roles in the story to be used in photography, and then obviously 40k was the same thing. You were like really focused on the things. They were great times.
Yeah.
I do remember we had one guy, and I don't know if he was colorblind or what, but he was obsessed by brown. He painted everything brown, everything. So I was doing a load of Dark Elves for the Grond faction, because in his Kane book.
Apologies for the interruption. Is Grond the name of that massive battering ram that they use in Return of the King?
It's the Hammer of the Underworld, because it's Morgoth and Sauron's mace is called Grond, and then they name the battering the battering ram Grond. But in the dark, there's a city called Grond, which is a Dark Elf city. Oh, cool! In Warhammer, the world that was, or Old World. So I was painting this army for the Kane books. There was like loads. What I really liked about the Kane book was it was like you had Dark Elves working with High Elves, you had High Elves working with Dark Elves. It was all over the place. It was great. So you try and tie your colour schemes in a little bit to try and make them look a bit goody, look a bit baddie. Yeah. So I was doing like this Grond faction. They had like quite turquoisey shields, and I was like doing like banners and stuff. And he was like, "Oh, I get to paint a unit of swordsmen together with your stuff." I was like, "Cool, wicked. Here's the colour scheme. You can knock yourself ahead." And he comes back and it's like he's painted the shields brown, so there's no like bright Dark Elf colour. The armor's brown, the robes are brown. I'm like, there's a lot of brown on here. And he's like, yeah, it looks cool. I was like, no, it looks awful. It's just like, squint your eyes. Can you see anything? No.
Oh, crikey.
It looks like they just look like chocolate toys right now. Like you just hang them off your Christmas tree or something like that. It's just like, I mean, there was a lot of learning in those early days for that guy. But I think
there might be some learning in them early days for you about to tell people, let people down gently. That looks awful.
I mean, I sort of like, I used to be quite tame and turpentine, but I was just abridging it. It was an abridged version of what
you could say. It looks a bit homogenous.
Yes, it looks a bit samey.
Looks like Birds of the Mars bar. What were you thinking?
Get out! Stop crying!
Yeah, you see him just melting dairy milk over an entire army for his paint.
Oh, we did a project for what was it? It was for Warhammer TV, and we wanted to, it was something to do with Marines, and I can't remember now. It was definitely a promotional video. It was chocolate. We made Intercessor Marines in chocolate, and we got someone who was a bit of a chocolatier in the studio. As always, his workshop, you find someone that can do the job a bit, and get them to do it. So they went home and started making molds of like Space Marines and Marines, but they all came out a bit rough. There was like one that was like really good, so we could like use it and eat it. Yeah, but the rest were all very weird. Yeah, so we had to fudge it literally.
Hey.
And
wait! For the audience at home, Yeah.
You're an idiot.
That is a very true statement.
But I painted a load of Marines to look like chocolate, and by God, they look like chocolate. I was so proud because I even did like the really, when chocolate gets a bit on the edges, it gets a bit lighter.
Yes, goes a bit white.
Yeah. So I was like just making full use of dry brush. Dry brushing is really good to make things look like chocolate.
Yeah,
so there was a lot of use of like catch
There's
and
a
flesh.
sentence for the show. Dry brush is really good for making things look like chocolate.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
But yeah, so most of those figures weren't chocolate. They were just painted to look like chocolate, apart from the one that got et.
That's your thumbnail. 40k chocolate Marines.
Yeah.
Lies.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me. Oh, that's
We
hilarious.
segued a bit, didn't we? Again.
Yeah.
Again.
What were we going to say? Yeah, with the battle report stuff, I know like the heavy metal, they just produce literally what is needed for the box art, don't they?
Yeah.
So like you wouldn't be able to get an army out of heavy metal stuff because you'd be like, but I need another 20 intercessors, and you'd be like, well, they don't exist.
Yeah. I was always the sometimes you'd have to add stuff to the existing armors, and you see like with the Sisters of the Battle, you'll see in some of the codexes there's like a unit of celestial sisters celestial. I forgot what they're called now. The elite ones that have like they have like the fleur de lis on the helmet, like a slightly white helmet. It's just an upgrade to a unit. It's just a bit more veteran.
Okay.
And I can tell by the basing and also some of the red that they've been painted by the army painting team.
Yeah.
Just to bulk out our Martyred Lady collection. But then you paint your own collection for the army painters and do one of everything or a couple of everything. So you have like a few immolators, an exorcist, and a whole bunch of squads and stuff. But yeah, it was always a bit sort of, but it was part and parcel of the job anyway. For a long time, where you just look and go, yep, so they've got one squad of these, one squad of those, one squad of those. For a game, you need like a couple of squads of those. You need a couple more tanks. So there's so many like times when we just had to add to the collections, which was good fun, to be fair.
Yeah.
And at a distance, it looked similar. Close up, definitely not.
Yeah.
Well, even on the heavy metal side of things, they fudge it, don't they? Because sometimes when you go and look at stuff on Games Workshop's website, you can tell it's just the photoshopping of the same, because that miniature will be in there twice. The same pose will potentially be in the box
right,
twice.
okay.
Yeah.
They just cut and paste the other one in as well. So
I haven't paid enough attention for that. I don't think.
I
see that.
always get moments of pride every now and again when I see like some of my stuff on the back of packaging.
Oh right,
because it's an old tank I did like donkeys years ago, and like a Blood Angel tank or like an Imperial Guard tank that was done in the early days of me being in the army painting team, because they didn't have the resources to do lots of stuff. But over the time, people have forgotten it's not painted by Heavy Metal, it was painted by me, but they keep sticking it on the back of packaging. I was like,
I'd be going into Games Workshop and everything was on the back. I'd be putting the boxes back the wrong way.
Yeah.
I'm always like, that's a really bad paint job. Why do you keep sticking that on the website? Why'd you do this?
But so this is what? So you have a tank that would be in like army shots?
Yeah,
or
there was a
something?
few Space Wolf ones, a few Blood Angel ones, a few Imperial Guard ones, and then like some. There was on the website. Certainly, I don't know if it's on the back of the box now, but there was a Daughter of Cain. I think it was the Blood Rat Medusa.
Yeah.
They didn't have, because they did all the parts separate.
Yeah.
So the cauldron on the Blood Rat on the Cauldron of Blood, they'd take out either the Hag Crone Hellebron, who's now like a slaughter queen, I think, and then the Blood Rat Medusa. You just like swap and change those characters, and then swap and change the two crew. Because if you had the Blood Rat Medusa, you had like these Daughters of Cain with like face masks and gold sticks. Where if it was just an old Daughter of Cain one, they just had little daggers and stuff. So I built and painted a Blood Rat Medusa shrine. And it keeps finding its way onto packaging and like websites and stuff like that. I was like, that's really it was a quick job. Why? It's embarrassing. Take it off.
we need to get people to find as many pictures of this tank and send them to us.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Space Wolf vehicles I did that just, I don't know if they're still there now, because obviously it's all moving on to like the new intercessors and Primera
so they'll
stuff.
be taking new photographs of the backdrops as well, because they'll be in there,
which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, potentially.
Well, it's not a good thing.
It is, yeah. It's
Nice
they're dated paint jobs.
I know, yeah, but it's nice to know it's still out there, though, isn't it?
From time to time I see them and go, "Ooh, I did that."
yeah, that must be cool. I remember when we were doing the, I think the Black Templars had been announced, and we were doing a battle report to try and get them in, and it was the Black Templar upgrade sprue, and there was like a gunner you could put on a repulsor, and that was, it was an army painted tank, and that was the only one in existence.
Mad.
And us and the photographers was just sort of like, okay, can we have it on this day and this day? They're like, yeah, but we need it back on that day and that day. And then it's like filming overruns and then this, that, and the other. And there's just people running backwards and forwards from photography studio to marketing with a black, like really useful box. And yeah, so if you ever see anybody running across, it's probably because they've got unreleased models and they don't want you to see it.
Trim them up.
Don't do that. We don't condone violence or the theft of Games Workshop's IP.
As you know from some of your stories, not trip him up. Hit him with a door.
Hit him with a door.
Yeah.
Poor Mark when he smashed up the Custodian's army twice.
Yeah.
Dear, that's funny.
Because it's really interesting. Just stupid anecdote. I remember thinking like, I've left Games Workshop. We started this podcast. Like, what are some behind the scenes things that people might find interesting? And one thing that I thought about that I don't think I've ever said, because just in case someone does something silly, was if you see someone walking across with a black, really useful box, it absolutely has unreleased product in it. But recently, and because I was like, but what if like somebody steals it and puts photos of it online or something like that? I was like, I don't want to be responsible for that having happened. But Games Workshop now just send unreleased product to people beforehand. So it's fine.
Yeah, it seems to happen quite a lot. I think it was when the Stomper was made, and events used to be downstairs. So you've got like the Bridge of Khazad-dûm, and you head towards like the big bike shed. So
You're
looking away now from the entrance to Warhammer World. You're looking towards, like,
walking down to
And there's like a little doorway on the left hand side, and there's like a downstairs. Forge was there for a time. I don't know who's there now, but events used to be there. And he's no longer with Workshop, and he left Workshop quite quickly after this. But I remember he had the Stomper on the window right next, so ground floor. And it was like he was working on it as a hobby project, bearing in mind it was like not released at this point.
Oh, okay.
And it was right next to the window, so people were taking photos of it. And it's like, you're an idiot. He was like, I don't understand why I'm getting in trouble. So I can't just do my hobby and my. It's like, this is why we have NDAs now, and
and frosted windows,
because of this one guy.
I tell you what, I'm impressed. Talking of NDAs, they at Warhammer Fest, they did a evening for.
Like the
creators, didn't they?
Oh, yes, yeah.
We had a great time at it.
Well, you have to be on like the influencer program, don't you? Of which we are not, and neither was like Midwinter Minis and stuff like that.
You need to be on the good boys list, and that's not us. But anyway, they showed them a load of stuff that's yet not come out, and I tell you what, I'm impressed that people are holding their water so well, which shows you how well that NDA can actually work.
Yeah, because I guess like
because someone said it, and I thought, I'll know what that is by next week. Next week's been and gone, and I'm still none the wiser.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Because they haven't announced anything. Am I right in thinking that they haven't announced anything new post Leviathan yet?
No.
Because I guess they're just focusing on that.
Because the annoying thing that's going to happen, and I'm a sucker for this, and I know it's going to happen because it happened with Indomitus, is that you're going to buy, well, you don't have to, but people are going to buy the contents of Leviathan.
Yeah.
And then
sell the Tyranids.
Well, no, and I've already got mine sold. And then in 6 months' time, they'll then do the better version of the kits that were in there anyway.
Like
and I always fall for it because I bought Blade Guard Veteran, which Blade Guard Veteran were in the box. They came Shield and Sword, and that was all you had. And then when 6 months down the line, they released them again in a box, and you could have cleaning the sword, having a pistol, having swords in a sheath, no swords in a sword out, and all the rest. And an absolutely amazing level of options was in there.
Yeah,
loads of helmeted heads and and unhelmeted heads and all the rest of it. And they were so much better than the ones that were in the box. And this is the thing is you rush for Leviathan, of which I will be one of those people. But that in 6 months' time, there'll be a new Terminator kit with all of the options.
See, I wonder from a...
And Staying Guards as well, because they have a massive amount of options for Staying Guard. True, Staying Guards are, it's that sort of special forces thing. Take the gun that best suits you.
Oh, okay,
So you can put them, you can feed them with it. But in the box, it'll be, they've got that, and they've got that, and that, and that, and that, and that's it. But, they'll do this to you. They'll do it, and I'll fall for it.
Yeah, I always wonder from a sculptor's point of view if you prefer to do the box set or if you prefer to do them separate, because in my head, I'm thinking separate's a lot easier to sculpt because you don't have to worry about all like the the jigsaw puzzle that is push fit.
Yeah.
So when you're doing the set, like if you're doing like the stern guard for the set, it's like they're all fitting like certain ways of push fit. I'm not a sculptor.
They're really pleased.
It looked more complicated from a sculpting point of view.
Yeah,
It sounds like they're really, really happy with the new Terminators, the way they've designed them on the push fit, because apparently it sort of looks like they sort of lever through themselves. So a lot of the bits that would be like the a lot of like the mold lines and so on and things all end up behind stuff, so you don't see them. And
great!
So it's stuff like
that's
that.
Interesting.
You know, it's quite clever the way they've done them like that. It's like that with the. It's like that with the Crusader box when I was building a new one the other day, and they've got a big seam down the front of their shin. But it doesn't matter because then the actual shin goes over the top of it anyway. It's quite cleverly designed. But,
that's good.
Yeah, it's that thing they've gone, I'm going to buy all these, and then in 6 months I'm going to have more of them anyway. I know the only option on the new Terminators is Sergeant's helmet on or helmet off.
And that's it.
And then if he comes with his helmet off, you can then still have him with a scooped out helmet, so you can put it on his belt or on the floor. Or whatever you want. But other than that, that's it. And I fall for it every time.
Yeah, I mean they did that with the Dominion, like the Dominion set. 'Cause I'm a big fan of like the new Stormcast, the Thunderstrike Stormcast, and the way that they're molded, because you get like gaps down joins of like greaves and armor, and that's where the mold line usually sits. But I like how they had like separate. You had choice of helmet head or not helmet head for every single model in that set. Every single model.
Which is better.
It's great. So like if you decide to do the Lord Imperator, you have like helmet, sculpted beard on helmet, or bearded man. Looks very much like you two, except without the glasses.
Short-sighted.
But I love it when the mold lines are minimized by like clever fitting. That is always a big tip of the hat.
The thing I hope they fix this time round, because I think it's caused them so much problems themselves, put the bloody characters on sprues of their own. Because then the problem being is, because then the problem you've got is if you don't, you then can't release them, and you end up with this whole big problem.
Well, they kind of do now, don't they? Because they do the whole sprue. So, like, if you got Dominion, all the good guy characters are on one sprue.
Yeah.
But there is, like, the odds of a Stormcast here and the odds Praetor here and stuff like that.
The big problem wasn't it? Which was, it sounds like a minor thing, but it was a big problem if you were starting an army post Dark Imperium, was that you couldn't get a captain for your Death Guard army.
Oh, right.
The thing you needed being, the Lord of Corruption, I think.
Contagion?
Lord of Contagion, thank you. You couldn't get one if you didn't get
the set, yeah.
Oh, right.
And it's to the point that they had to bring out an old character and say, he's a Lord of Corruption, and he comes, but when you buy him, he still comes with extra Terminators in a box, and he's your guy, because the other one was stuck on a sprue with other stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of Death Guard players, how are you feeling about Disgustingly Resilient being removed?
Oh, I've got to be honest, with regards to 10th edition and all these little snippets of what the armies have got coming out, I've got two outlooks. One is, I'm not going to whinge now, because they've only showed you a couple of units, and there's other units that when they come out could be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
No one's saying, one of the bulks of a Death Guard army is Poxwalkers. No one said what Poxwalkers can or can't do.
Yeah.
So I'll wait till they all come out, and then I'll worry. And then when I have a whinge, I only have to have a whinge till the codex turns up, and then everything will probably be, if they've really struggled on just the data cards in tournament.
Yeah.
By the time they get round to codex, there might be some tweaks and improvements. So I'm trying not to think the sky is falling down. It's not great, but I'm trying to just go, look, I'll if you take this off me, but then say, these things are 10 times better than they were, then you go, well, then I'll take my chances. So I'm being as pragmatic about it as I can.
Yeah.
And if it goes really bad, I know where they work. I'll just burn it down.
Wow. You heard it here first.
Well, no, you need to
start with the woodyard first.
Yeah.
I'll do the whole lot. They can have one big mega complex.
Yeah.
With a spire that can be seen for 3 counties.
There used to be a guy at the woodyard, and I think he loved his job. He used to just when it was sunny, right? When it was sunny, you'd have his radio out, because you could see him at the front. You have like, I guess it's like a forklift, but it was just for long planks.
Yeah.
It was just like a big little motorized trolley vehicle that had all these
Yeah.
long planks on it. And his job, because sometimes obviously we're probably spending less time watching this guy doing his job, making cups of tea in the tea room. But he would literally just get like all these planks, take them all off, turn them upside down, then get another bunch on, and then put them on the machine and then take it away. So I guess it was to stop warping. He just had these big stacks of like planks, and he would just take ages just taking them neatly off, turn them upside down, put them to one side. Then the ones that have been left there for a day or so, to then grab those, put them on the vehicle, upside down again, and then drive back in, come back, and then start on the next lot, It was just like, and he was loving it. He was just there with his radio on and listening to Radio 1 because you could hear it, because we used to have the windows open and stuff like that. And it's just like, what a happy man.
Good.
Just turning wood.
I love
all day, every day.
I love hard work. I could watch it all day.
It's good watching people work hard, right?
I like that.
I'm trying to remember what my dad said. It was like, I hate watching a woman work. When my mum was like making dinner, he's like, I hate watching a woman work. That's why I always look away. And I'm like, Dad, help her out. He's like, why didn't you? And like, Liz is like, yeah, why didn't you? I'm like, all right.
Fair.
Sorry, Mum.
I used to talk about this the other week. It was just how sexist the society was in not that long ago. I remember I used to come home on leave from the army. And me and my father used to go to my grandparents to have our Sunday dinner. And we get there, my grandmother, bless her, she was a Derbyshire girl. She was about this tall, she was tiny. And she would be in there, and the steam coming out of the kitchen when you're doing a Sunday dinner. And we come in, and I go, "Hi, Nan," and she go, "I hope I'm going to talk to her for about 5 minutes." She went, "I'll speak to you properly in a bit," because that was at the point we grabbed my grandfather, went to the pub and waited to be phoned for dinner.
Oh my God. Wow. That would not hold up in the house on Peach.
Imagine now. Well, literally, just the woman behind the counter would just shout my dad and go, "Your mum's on the phone, says dinner's done." Right, okay, we'll finish these. Just,
Jesus. I could be like going around the house doing the hoovering, which is great exercise, by the way. Doing household chores is a great source of exercise. I sweat like a mofo.
Yeah.
But like I'll be finished hoovering, I'll be like, I've got a cup of tea, sit down. And Liz will just see me like sat down going, he's sat down. Can't have this. Did you know this needs doing? I was like, oh, okay, I'll get up there and do that then. Charlie's drawer's still broken, or this needs doing, or this needs doing. I was just like, yes, darling, okay. She will not let me sit down. She's watched this going, yes, I do. Yes, you do, darling. You're great.
Yeah.
But it's like very, in a good way. It's not like, I just go home, wait for my egg and chips on a Tuesday, and then rant at the wife because the egg's not, sunny side up or whatever.
Yeah. Gone are those days, hopefully.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I'm sure somewhere out there is people who still get to go to the pub and wait to get the phone call to.
I'm sure there are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What they've done is they put it in the microwave or the slow cooker, and it's their own meal.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the way to do it.
Sensible. Yeah.
Slow cookers are so good.
I've never used one.
Yeah.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah.
I've got a joke about Mrs. Peach, but I'm not going to say it because she'll kill me.
Yeah. Moving on.
Takes ages. She takes ages. No, just, oh, did you get it? All right. Took you a minute. I'm the dishwasher. She's the slow
You just
cooker.
press that button.
Unbelievable. No, many times I just put like a roast on or something like that. We've got a chili con carne. It was just like, let's go out. We come back, it's like, dinner's ready.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So good.
Yeah, I love one pot stuff. I love cooking one pot stuff. Like, was it like chorizo, rice and chicken? Jambalaya, something like that. I don't know. You just chuck it all in one pan, put a paella, something like that, and you just you just leave it for like an hour, and then you just have tasty goodness afterwards.
Yeah. See, with pans and stuff, I'm always like paranoid, like it will just stick to the bottom.
Yeah. I guess you have to occasionally stir it.
Yeah.
Slow cooked curries or slow cooked chilies are phenomenal.
Yeah.
The only thing we're struggling with at the minute, it sounds like this is a proper first world problem, is when you cook a chicken, you slow cook it in the chicken, it's getting the time right, because you're like, cool, the chicken's done, you pick it up, it just falls to pieces. It's well, chicken's very nice.
Yeah, it's deboning it.
Yeah, but it's just you just got like this broth, and you're just there trying to like get the bits of chicken out, and like.
Could you say it's like pulled chicken?
Yeah,
like slow cooked,
like
I'd
pulled
say it's
pork.
disintegrate. I feel like Predator when I'm like I've taken Hudson's skull and I'm boiling it. That's what I feel. Whenever that happens and I pull a chicken out, I just get visions of like Predator 2 when he's like cleaning the skull.
Oh yeah, yeah. I watched Predator 2 recently. Actually,
I think it stands up really well as a movie, Predator 2.
Yeah, and because
why did it have to be birds? White birds. I love that guy. So
I arguably sometimes think it might be best.
I think it's better. I like
Really?
I feel like I feel the barrage.
You know what it feels like
now that
whether you have issues with the actors or not. I used to love watching Lethal Weapon. As a kid, cool action film, and it felt a bit like Lethal Weapon meets Predator.
yes, well, Danny
Glover,
wasn't it?
especially at the start where he does that little maneuver because there's a couple of like downed motorcycle cops,
and he like leans out the car.
Yeah.
I have a lot of time for Predator 2.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And you learn a little bit more about the Predators at the end.
Yeah, because especially when he's
spaceship
got
and
like the
stuff,
old pistol.
and
And
he's like, he's so old.
Yeah.
And then that pistol that they pull out at the end of Predator 2 is
House of Prey,
and that's in Prey, like the new one that's on Disney Plus, and that was good.
and the funny thing about that was they didn't have the original prop. As you can imagine, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But there was a guy who's a massive Predator fan, had made the pistol from Predator.
Oh, amazing.
Predator 2, and lent it to the film to be used.
Oh,
Amazing.
brilliant.
Genius.
Yeah.
So speaking of movies, and because
The only downside to that is it puts a really bad ending on Prey, is because she ends up with that pistol, and then the Predator ends up with that pistol, which would suggest that the Predators went and murdered all the Indians in the end, or Native
Maybe
Americans.
she gave it in.
Yeah.
If I give you this, will you go?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been after one of those. Part of the collection. Cheers, darling.
yeah.
But it also suggests that they all get murdered.
Because I see what I reckon Predators do is they go to a planet and go, desperately need, super shiny rare, gonna go down
Yeah.
there.
The irony is that was the name of our first episode.
Yeah, got needs. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it was.
I just say, just when you, I'd love a Cockney Predator. He'd be like, yeah, cheers, darling. Yeah.
Cockney Predator.
Yeah.
Played by, oh God, I forgot his name now.
Jatham Statham.
No. He's been in like movies, and Danny Dyer. There we are. Played by Danny Dyer.
Oh God,
Yeah,
no, I know. I'm off. I'm done. No, stupid idea.
Senior older Predator being Ray Winston.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah, do a British gangster movie, but it's all predators. Yeah, like Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Predators. It's like Pride and Prejudice and zombies. It's anything predators.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
Well, there was a real run in like the late 80s, early 90s of somebody versus the Predators was always a thing. I think I've read it as Batman versus Predator.
there's always comics.
Which makes
sometimes,
sense, doesn't it? Because you think Batman, if you're a Predator looking down, Batman's looking pretty much top of his game. He's worth a run at.
Yeah.
And I've seen it as Judge Dredd as well.
Oh,
Judge Dredd
interesting.
versus Predator.
Oh, that is interesting.
Quite cool.
I don't know. It's all been all quiet on that front in terms of Warhammer movie bits and bobs at the moment. They did
it's gone
that.
very quiet, hasn't it?
Oh, you mean the Amazon?
Yeah, the Henry Cavill thing, because they were like, we have an agreement in principle, and then just nothing.
So I remember someone in the comments. Sorry, I forgot your name because it was such a long time ago now. But they made a valid point saying a lot of these things never go through.
We talked about on
was
here
it,
as well.
Ian?
Arbiter Ian said, I'll believe it when I see it, sort of thing. He said, because we're working in theatre. He says the amount of things that go through ideas and then need to be funded and get backers
Was
and
it
one
that
thing.
commented then? I don't know. There was someone definitely. I don't think.
Yeah,
it
he'd
was
said it on a show, and then I parrot fashioned it back on here.
Yeah.
Tried to help me look.
Yeah, there was someone that was like, I think agreeing, and then they gave their reasons why because they worked in the industry as well. But it definitely wasn't. Ian.
But
I don't know. I wonder what's going to happen with that. I mean, I hope it goes through.
It might be. It might just be now in the really boring legal phase of just getting everything sorted out, financial backers and one thing or another.
Well, I remember. It was way before. So I did foundation. It's like year 0 of uni. And I did that at college.
For a minute then I thought you were talking about the Isaac Asimov show. The
No.
Clarke show that's on Apple.
So that was 2000, but I remember prior to that there was things put in White Dwarf about Lord of the Rings. And then I remember someone at least a couple of years before that talking about them making a Lord of the Rings movie. And that was like a good 3-4 years before it was even like properly announced. So
Yeah.
it takes ages.
Well, you know,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
well, they announced the Dave Filoni Star Wars movie, didn't he? That will wrap all of this era that now we're calling the New Republic era will get wrapped up in the Dave Filoni movie.
Yeah, like the Mandoverse.
The Mandoverse. But they're now already saying, maybe 2028, 27, 2028.
Oh, crikey.
You know, so it's
Yeah.
like, which you're going to need to, because I think obviously Mando season 4 is going to happen.
Yeah.
Ahsoka will probably have a second season,
Yeah.
and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
you know, and I think,
yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
I think you've got to give some breathing space.
do-
So I'm not shocked when things take a while now.
I do think and as a Star Wars fan, there's been a lot of stuff focused on Skywalkers, like that
Yeah.
generation, that era of like the Clone Wars to the Skywalkers, and it's good. And the characters we grew up with as kids, and like obviously other people have grown up with from watching the prequels and stuff. But Old Republic, there's like thousands and thousands of years of just stuff. I mean, there's like the stuff
they
on the game, like
making some films.
the guy that is it not the guy that directed Logan?
Yeah,
The last
James Mangold.
He's doing one that's like at the very beginning of the Force, and apparently it'll play out all a bit like old-fashioned,
good.
big old-fashioned Ben Hare style.
Oh, right.
Ben Hare style, not Ben Hare style. Ben Hare style.
Yeah.
Movie of like of all that, you know, that biblical sort of
Foundation of the Jedi kind of thing. Yeah, it could be
Well, you've got the
interesting.
TV series next year, haven't you? The Acolyte.
yes,
Which
Oh,
is set
yeah.
100 years before Phantom Menace.
Oh, right. Cool.
Which is about the very beginnings of the Jedi realising the Sith have returned.
Yeah.
Which I think that'll be quite cool,
Yeah.
actually. It's that, and funny enough, that's got
You just see a Jedi walk into a wall and go, "Oh no, my vision is clouded. The Sith are back."
And funny enough, talking of Logan, one of the Jedi is the young lady who was in his Dark Materials and also played the clone of
oh yeah,
played the not the clone, but she was genetic material of Logan, wasn't
yeah,
she?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's playing one
Yeah,
of the.
yeah.
She's playing one. She's actually playing, which is quite interesting, an alien Jedi.
Oh, cool.
So that'd be quite
Should be
cool,
fun.
sort of. Yeah.
I'm on. I still wonder like what the Warhammer TV shows would be. I'm on book 2 of Eisenhorn as I'm driving around in my car.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you'd started them. What do you think?
Oh, I love them. I
They're
think they're
good, aren't
great.
they?
Yeah, Eisenhorn's a badass. But just really cool.
Read so well. He's such a brilliant voice as Toby.
Well, yeah.
Toby Longworth.
Yeah.
Were you shocked when you read Xenos and then you moved to Malleus, which is the second one?
Yes.
At the start, you think it's the pilot is the dude, but it ends up being his daughter.
Yeah, because
Yes.
the other one's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
done
Yeah.
between
Yeah,
books.
because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, cool, yeah. So it's just carrying on, but you
Have
don't
you got
realise.
as
And it's
far
like,
as-
Yeah.
oh no, it's his daughter. You're like, oh, what happened to him?
have you got
Yeah.
as far in? Have you got as far in book 2 of the parade?
Yes.
That's horrific.
Yeah.
It's so well
Yeah.
written of something going really completely wrong.
Is this the big
having the
triumph?
big-
Yeah,
yeah,
and then the
then-
Space Marine, like,
Well, the first thing that goes wrong
Yeah.
is doesn't one of the
There's
thunderbolts
a flyby.
Is that what they- are they
Yeah,
called thunderbolts?
lightning.
yeah,
Lightning.
yeah.
Lightning.
There's lightning thunderbolts. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
one of them
lightning.
hits another one, doesn't
Yes,
it? And
yeah.
it's the beginning of the psychic.
Yeah, because they've got
Yeah.
like rogue psychers, aren't they? Alpha level psychers
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the parade.
they're parading them.
because they're prisoners.
Yeah.
And they're showing them off that they got loads of them, and then the flyby goes wrong, and then I think they're like either possessed, and then they start doing attack runs.
Yeah, it's the
and-
Marine that ends up like just killing a load of people, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
Does he kill himself? In the end, or-
No. There's a space marine who picks up like a little girl and is like, "Quick, I will get you away from danger." And
yes.
and
yeah.
there's a Eisenhorn notices like a brand on her foot,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Don't do it." And the kid makes Eisenhorn kill the marine,
Oh yeah.
and he's about to kill himself, but one of his mates like stops the bullet.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, my gun must have jammed because of all the psychic frost."
Yeah.
And then his Inquisitor mate behind him is like, "No, it's me, you idiot. Point it away from your head."
That seems
Yeah.
brilliantly written.
Oh,
brilliantly
I was driving to a wedding, going, "Oh my god!" It's so good.
I always think Eisenhorn is the place. I know they always said that's probably where they will start, but it's the place to start because if you could almost read Eisenhorn without knowing the 40k
Yeah,
universe.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just sci-fi,
yeah.
good well written
Yes.
sci-fi.
I've always thought
Yeah.
that the either the Gaunt's
Gaunt's
Ghosts
are the same.
or
You could read
Eisenhorn.
them as-
I think Eisenhorn's a proper entry level kind of thing, whereas Gaunt's Ghosts is a little bit more, I guess, focused on one small part of a older Battle Crusade or Battlefront Crusade and stuff.
Yeah,
Where Eisenhorn's just generic. I say generic in like the loosest terms. Like it is an Inquisitor dealing with politics and all the things that go off the Imperium. It feels a little bit more focused. And
well, it's Gothic. It's Gothic sci-fi Sherlock Holmes, isn't it, to a certain degree?
Yeah.
But I love the Eisenhorn novels.
Yes, yeah.
I always loved in the first one that one where he picks up the guy who becomes his mate for a while as a Fishig.
Yes,
the arbiter.
Yes, yeah.
And he's gonna interrogate the guy psychically.
Yeah.
And he says to him, "Step back," and he sort of goes, and he just sort of stands where he is and he goes, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Fishing." And then sort of goes, "All right, get it."
I really like that.
Yeah, because there's some of the bits where the comedy, it's still clever comedy. It's not sort of slapstick, but in a serious setting, and I think that makes it.
It was like,
just remind me. I don't know if I've imagined this, but I'm sure there's a bit where they go to a planet. It's a very alien-esque planet.
Is this in book one?
I can't remember if it's book
the
one or
where
book
the
two.
geometry doesn't work.
Yes, and I'm
in book one,
there's an alien trying to welcome them, and they just kill it.
Yes,
because you're like looking
Pretty
from the
much.
alien's point of view. Is that right? At some point,
so I think they're chasing people that are after the Necrochute.
The MacGuffin, as you get in every 40k novel.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're after the chaos thing, and they sneak into the this place, and there's like a handoff, and then Eisenhorn, to try and get the Necrochute, is just like, they're attacking, and like pushes people over, and then they all just start having a big fight.
He kicks it off.
But yeah, book one I thought was great because I since I realized that Wrath and Glory, like the tabletop RPG, I'm like, we could make like essentially like go on an adventure and be in our own Eisenhorn novels. And I'm like, God, that'd be so cool. But I don't know enough about like the universe and like the language that's used and all that sort of stuff. So I'm
you can
the only thing I always find funny in Eisenhorn, it's the worst coded way of speaking. He could guess it instantly.
Like glossier.
Everyone's like, isn't it? Rose Thorn does such and does all, and you go, so that's that, and they go in there. It's
because I guess like it's meant to be their own secret language that nobody knows, but they want the reader to know, kind of have an understanding. So it's just like, he always goes, Rose, Hammer, Aegis, Pattern Alpha. And he's like, no, Pattern Vengeance. And he's like, that means Pattern Explosions.
The other thing I love in the first Eisenhorn novel, because I think it does such a good job of explaining it, is when they're all sitting and they spot they just keep getting a glance of something, don't they? And then they realise that they're all working for obviously dispatched on his own Chaos Marine, who's working with a load of cultists.
Yeah, it was an Emperor's Children.
And then
with fuzzy armour.
As they start to look at the armour, it gives them all headaches, doesn't it? It's all got Chaos rune symbols in it. I thought that was really, really clever, because he's an Eisenhorn who can deal with that to some degree.
Yes.
Even he's struggling, and all the Imperial Guardsmen are like throwing up and everything.
And see, Dan Allen's really good at making chaos feel more real. Because he does that with Honor Guard. There's a shrine world in Gaunt's Ghost, and they go and they're fighting against these guys called the Infadi, which are just like religious cultists for chaos. And they're getting such good progression. They get to this massive, great big center, like some big shrine, basilicum shrine thing, and they're just like, we got there. And then whatever, I can't remember now, but like Gaunt's like, hang on a minute, I think this is a trap, because the guys get to this central bit, because there's all been this thing going off, and they're like, why has it been such a quick advance? It's we've had such resistance, and now it's been such a quick advance. And this whole like division are there in the center. It's very much like when the Red Keep blows up in Game of Thrones with the wildfire. So this guy he walks in, he's like an officer, he's like, hey, we got there, we're talking, explaining they got there, and then suddenly they get to the centre and they all start having these nosebleeds. And they all start feeling really dizzy. And like people's noses, literally, it's like blood's exploding out of them. And then he looks down and he's sick, and there's like maggots and stuff like that. It's like, what? And then the entire place just explodes with like demon fire.
Well, there was a Gaunt's Ghost novel as well, wasn't it? I can't remember which one it was, but isn't he one where they're on a planet and there's a small detachment of Chaos Marines?
Yes, that's like
they were all just like a really nasty bunch of guys, and I think are they Emperor's Children?
Yes, there's when it's Traitor General, that one is, I think, and they are behind enemy lines on a chaos held world. And it's the Sons of Sek, and you got like a bunch of Emperor's Children there, which are quite hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still
There's
managed
a
to take
whole bit
few
as
out.
well where which is really clever. Whereas, do you remember the bit where they're getting stalked through the forest, and you think they're being stalked by some growling wild beast, and it's just it's a chaos possessed rhino, isn't it?
No, it's the Dreadnought. It's a
Dreadnought,
There's a
is it?
short story between
Oh,
Scout
cool.
Sergeant McCall, and he's stalking a beast, and it ends up being like the Chaos Dreadnought, but it's like it's been blinded.
Oh,
the sarcophagus
that's right,
is hanging
yeah.
open, and like it's been blind and stuff like that. And every time he makes a noise, its hearing is like really intense, so it can tell where it is, and it just like auto cannons an area. So McCall has to like really, because he's like the badass.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
Uber Scout. isn't
Yeah, so he ends up like grenading it in the face and killing
Nice.
it. But yeah, he even takes in the old days when Drakari or Dark Eldar had mandrakes, they'll basically like gimps,
Yeah.
like leather, and they're like super like awesome assassins.
Yeah.
Whereas now mandrakes like shadow demons in the new lore. But in whichever
That's an upgrade.
yeah, but I think it's Sabbat Martyr fights him. But yeah, he has a face off with a super kinky assassin and kills him. Because
Nice.
he's Scout Sergeant McCall.
Well, Eisenhorn's the one. The Eisenhorn's novel starts with him fighting somebody who's a Dark Eldar character, isn't he? Because when the
Yes,
novel starts, with him
second
being-
one, yeah.
he starts
Yeah,
poisoned
because
doesn't
he's
he?
poisoned, and he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm a dead man."
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, Eisenhorn, no, it's the
Not
only,
only- not
it's only
only
the
am I
start
dead-
of the book.
Yeah, it's not only by a dead man, but
Yeah.
between the two books, you're 63 years older than you were in the
Yeah,
first book.
it was interesting. Like the start of the second book,
It felt like you'd missed a book.
yeah,
I always thought.
because it'd been like 100 years or something. But he was like, I'm a dead man, and this, that, and the other, and we're going after this to get the antidote to this
Yeah.
2-part poison. And then he gets stabbed with the second bit of poison, and he's like, well, that's it, I'm dead. and then it's just like, I awoke weeks later, and you're like, fine, didn't get
I
an
escaped
antidote,
somehow.
you were just fine. Okay, yeah, like plot armor.
I do like he's lost like a load of feeling and like nerves in his
Yeah,
face,
he
so he
got
can't
Yeah.
smile
book one, and then
I-
he's severed. He can't smile.
Yes, yeah, it was
or
like
show fear.
Yeah, was it like Locke? I think was was the character.
Like, he was like a bad guy rogue trader.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
yeah,
I love the
and-
rogue trader that's his mate. But he's like massively flamboyant.
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh,
really,
You
isn't
just
it?
imagine him in like he's like powdered face and massive big like
He's like half robot or something.
yeah,
Is it that
and
guy?
big and a big
Yeah.
wig and all the rest of
Yeah.
it, and all his
I mean, he
services, all his
Yeah.
services are massively ornate
Yeah,
as well. aren't
yeah.
they? I think that
If you
there's
could
no
afford that, you would, wouldn't you?
yeah, there's no
Yeah,
one on the
yeah.
there's no one human on the crew, is the other than him.
Yes.
Everybody
Oh,
else,
really?
Yeah, they're all
everybody
services,
else's
yeah.
services are all like ridiculously overly grand.
I thought the one thing I
He sort of gets involved just for he likes the laugh and the adventure, doesn't he?
Yeah. Like the one thing I do really like about the books, in a way, is like the scale of everything. So in that parade in book 2, it was like, oh, here's like
Because it's miles
there's a-
long, isn't it?
Yeah, like miles long, and it's like, oh, there's a big flag, and it's so big that a dreadnought is like struggling to hold it. And it's supported by 4 super heavy Baneblade tanks.
And
you're
at some
like,
point,
oh, this
and
is so
a
cool.
Titan walks down the street.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a Titan casually walks
Yeah,
down.
because there's a big archway, isn't there?
Yeah, massive,
Yeah.
because he's but and the really cool thing is like, right, we're chasing these guys into the warp. How long is it going to take? Oh, 30 weeks.
Yeah. I love the fact that hyperspace in 40k isn't that quick when you think of it in Star Wars terms.
Just like
you're everywhere in half an hour. aren't you?
Yeah.
like
You know.
like
Or even less.
I think
Yeah.
so. How like good they've done with the storytelling, I guess, is just like how big everything is and the
Yeah.
scale of everything. And it's like, right, it takes you 30 weeks to get from point A to point B, and then this parade is like hours and hours long.
Yeah.
and
it's
all
brilliant.
that sort of thing. It's
Even
just
so
really
weird,
cool.
even the clever stuff that I like as well is because obviously this weird thing of 40k where everything's massively futuristic and backwards all at the same time.
Yeah.
Like when he does that thing, doesn't he, where he's like goes and sees his astropath who lives on the cutter in like a little sweaty room all of his
Yeah,
own, and he
yeah.
says, I need to get a message back to Inquisitor headquarters, and he's like just pulls down the right cable and plugs himself in.
Yeah,
And he just
yeah.
he's literally handwritten it.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
iPads. He's just handwritten
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Give that message, and he plugs himself in to get
Yeah,
a
yeah.
message through space.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
love
And like-
that.
yeah, and like
the
when-
idea of everything passes through humans
Yes,
as opposed
yeah.
to machines. It's really cleverly done.
Well, yeah, like when he's talking about wandering around his house, and he's just like, "Yes, I go into the inner pantry."
Well, it's just like it could just be any big house. Couldn't it?
Yeah, and it's like, yes, the floor was stone, and you're like, cool, we have stone floors in our world.
But it's such and such stone or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I've always liked the meme where it's got like Star Trek and it goes, I think it's light speed for Star Trek, then it's hyper speed for Star Wars, and it just goes 40k, flies through hell.
Yeah,
Yeah, literally do, don't you?
yeah,
It's like, yeah. You're
I
not coming
saw-
out of that anytime soon.
I saw a brilliant meme about and it was a cartoon, and it said like Japanese RPG, and it had a guy clad in armor, and then it had a woman next to him who had like an armored bikini on.
Yeah.
And then it said American RPG, and there was a guy clad in armor, and then the woman was maybe like slightly less anime, like a bit more grizzled and clad in armor, and then it said 40k RPG, and it was just 2 fridges with guns.
Oh, I see. That's got purity seals on them.
Yeah. Just 2 armored fridges. So you're like, yes.
Oh, brilliant.
Bulk.
Yeah. No, thoroughly enjoyed it. Wonderful. So I think, on this second take, we've been going for 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I suppose
wow.
we should draw to a close.
So
Is that something that we need to talk about?
Yes, this was something I
good spot.
referred to in our last chat, which was Jewel Knight Jess sent them through because I pegged her via post. And she was like, I'll send you some stuff. And she did, and I just didn't get around to doing it. So we've got some stickers, we've got a little badge. So thank you, Jess, for sending those through.
Oh, that's very nice.
She rides broomsticks, which is great. So yeah, just lots of cool stickers and a pin.
That's very sweet.
Welcome, you are welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, with rainbows, Rainbow Warriors.
So yeah, maybe a last question as like a 10th edition hype train. What are you gonna, if we all get a box each, I guess, we'll have one for the channel that we'll do like tutorials on and stuff, but your own personal Leviathan boxes, what will you paint them as?
Boring answer, afraid to be more of the same. It'll be more of my son's chapter of being lead belcher coloured Black Templars.
The Knights of the Forge.
Knights of the Forge, as they know.
Yeah. How about yourself?
So I think I would do Behemoth for the Tyranids.
Yeah.
If I ever get around to it.
What colour's Behemoth? I'm not.
That is
up
the
on
red skin and it's like black or really dark blue carapace.
Oh yeah.
They're the ones that wiped out the Ultramarines pretty much.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if there's a connection.
Well, they
Mate.
do all the Space Marines dead. I'll just convert them dead and paint them blue. So I'll have an army of corpses and an army of Tyranids eating said corpses.
Just do your zombie conversions.
Yeah, I do the zombie conversions.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Marines. I'm not sure. I think weirdly I got Space Wolves, but painted them as Blood Angels when I was a kid because I'm weird like that.
Wow.
And I do think it'd be nice to do some Blood Angels down the line, but I've got that many things to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if I get round to doing it. I'll probably do maybe the Marines first. I'm not sure, but I've not decided what to do for the Marines.
I haven't gone as far to think about the Tyranids because I don't think I own a single Tyranid. They've never been something that's like
No, I started them when they
to
came
me.
out, when they had their first big plastic relaunch. I bought them and then I sold them all off very quickly.
Yeah.
didn't
So,
stick with
but I want to paint the Marines as flesh terrors.
Oh yeah, because you got
Nice.
yourself some. You've ordered yourself some decals, haven't you?
Yeah, I found some decals, like flesh terrors decals from somewhere in America, I think. Because Mighty Brush used to sell them, but unfortunately
this is
they
good.
don't anymore.
This is good because for a long time I've had an Ardent Shroud army I've not been able to play with, which is Sisters of Battle. And me and Wade have had this this beef that never was, which is the Ardent Shroud and the Flesh Terrors don't get on.
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't the Flesh Terrors have one of their wig out moments and actually ploughed through the Sisters of Battle?
apparently. Yeah.
Yes, there was that, and there was also the Sister Battle told the teacher on them because they were basically
They were snitches that got more than stitches.
yeah, they were indeed. They were
Snitches get disemboweled.
fighting some chaos together, and there's a little village full of people, and the Flesh Terrors chew their way through the cultists, but then can't stop and chew their way through the villages, and then
The Blood Rage, man.
what was her name?
It's like me with Greg Sausage Rolls.
She's got a name that suits her. But yeah, there's a canoness that just like, I'm going to write a sterling worded letter to the War Master about this incident.
Oh, amazing.
Get me an
Yeah.
astropath.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, brilliant.
So
Yeah.
they grass them up.
Yeah, because I bought some decals, and well, it was actually I saw like the Mighty Brush, like he does like PDF tutorials and stuff.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
And I bought the Flesh Terrors one. And I was like, oh, it's so cool. And then found some decals.
He's a clever boy,
elsewhere.
Luther.
But I also realised that currently Forge World are doing pre-orders of Flesh Terror shoulder pads for Space Marines, so I bought a few of those as well.
Cool.
So I am
That's good.
well keen. I want to get my custodians
I always
done.
think if I did Flesh Terrors, I'd have to spend my life cutting chainsaws and off and doing them longer.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
because they don't really have their boss does, but they don't. But I just think they look like they
like the big Eviscerator thing.
yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
You get a couple of
Gluing
those
them
on,
back
yeah.
to back, so that goes all the way around.
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
like the Chaos Space Marines have a few arms with like longer chainsaws?
Yeah,
I'm sure
well, they've got them where they look a bit saber shaped, haven't they, as well?
So,
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying it's a
Good.
positive, but I mean, more graphically
So that'd be interesting. But
designed.
yeah, haven't thought about Materials at all, but I'm super keen to paint a Flesh Terror's army.
Bother, I'm sure somebody will ferry them off. You could take it off your hands. There'll be a lot of Tyranid armies, I think, getting very big very quickly for not a lot of money.
Yeah.
I definitely think we'll find a nice, quick way of painting Tyranids to help people out that are a bit like, oh, how do I go about painting all this stuff? It's like so much carapace and so much flesh. I'm sure there's many ways.
And
we
then
can do
I guess question for yourselves and for the audience: if we do a Leviathan box painting tutorial, should it be box art colours?
No, because you know what he thinks about them. Well, he can be, but we all be dead.
we can totally. There's ways of speeding that up as well.
Yeah. Because if it's like a big new thing with lots of new people, and you'd be like, "Oh, box art," like that's because usually I'm like, let's do something different because everyone else does the box art.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I could find a quick way of doing the box art.
Well, they know all the things would be nice things, is because I think for some people it's stuff that they've not really come across before. It's like, what's a good color scheme for librarian blue as opposed to them, so that they don't look, they're blue but don't look like ultramarines.
Oh,
and things
yes,
like that,
of course,
that sort of stuff is quite interesting.
Yeah.
How to paint white, because that's going to be a thing for there's an apothecary in the box.
Oh yeah, Peach has done a good white tutorial already.
Yeah. We're doing another one soon with Shatterpoint. So
yeah. Was it Soul Blight Grey contrast?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
spray it white
with a white dry brush.
Yeah,
done.
Well remembered.
Yeah, we've done our white scarf, so it's on that as well. So,
Yeah.
Pretty super quick and easy.
Excellent.
Yes, well, as always, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you've enjoyed watching this video. And of course, we do have our Patreon, so come support us on that. Yes, you are great. We love you all. Thank you to everyone that's like joined all the different levels of tiers. There's some of you out there that are on the feedback tier that just don't send me stuff. It's crazy. I'm there at home waiting, going, send me feedback.
That's Peachy calling you out.
I am calling you out, yeah. I've got a few to still work through, but yes, please. We've got a great Discord community as well, which is great.
Oh, they're awesome. They really are.
I've said
awesome.
many times, lots of interesting channels now that I can't quite work out what half of them are now. It's like, what's this one about? Oh, walking dogs. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, the pet channel's great.
Yeah.
Everyone's posting pictures of their dogs and cats and all sorts, and it's wonderful. And loads of them have really cute clothes that they put them in, and it's awesome.
Have you seen the clothes where they look like a Chucky doll?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
and it looks like they've got a little arm with a knife and just run forwards. They are my favourite thing.
Yeah,
I just want to get a dog just so I can put it in that.
Put it in outfits.
Yeah.
I think
maybe that's where we need to go next. I have to do some dog merch.
Dog merch.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Or we should just start like an entire new channel that is just like a podcast and videos about dog merchandise.
What you could do is you could theme it as well, so you could have like little Tyranid legs. And then you could have like, I don't know, like
one of the waistcoats of the dog's got more legs on it.
Or give it mechadendrites, so it's like flopping around like a weird sort of, and like a little hood, so it looks like a Scutari.
And then we could do like battle reports, and it's like, this week Rover is dressed up as a flesh tearer, and Quentin is a sister of battle.
Fight.
Nice.
Right, I don't know what we're doing now.
Yeah, we're prolonging the pain.
Yeah, put your weird dreams in the comments, and
yes, please do.
Yeah, please do. Yeah,
and,
we'd love to read them.
and we'll all have a read if you want to talk about it. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Oh.
Bye.